Book 2. The warrior had gained a sword. Rakkety, rakkety, rakkety tam, the drums are beaten braw. Rakkety, rakkety, rakkety tam, are ye marching off to war? And who will stand with Rakkety Tam to win the king's royal banner? Wild Doogy Plumm, the Highlander of rough and ready manner. Those fighters of the Lonka patrol have vowed to give no quarter, a roaring blood and vinegar when charging to the slaughter. Chapter 17. As he was knocked from the tree, Tam glimpsed a fierce gold-rimmed eye. Then powerful talons locked into the folds of his plaid cloak and great wings beat at his face. He was being attacked by a large bird. Together they whirled downward in a welter of feathers, fur and kilt. Fortunately, a lilac bush broke their fall. As they crashed into it, Tam managed to grab his sword, but only by the blade. The warrior squirrel and bird rolled from the bush, fighting wildly. Tam pushed his free paw against the bird's throat, trying to stop its fearsome hooked beak from going for his eyes. He slammed the claymore's basket held hard over his adversary's head, gaining himself a moment's relief. Hurriedly he tore the cloak from his shoulders and flung it over the bird's head, muffling its angry shrieks. Tam rapped the sword hilt sharply down on its assailant's skull. Once, twice, thrice, disentangling himself, the border squirrel scrambled upright just in time to see two vermin charging at him, a white fox wielding a sickle-curved sword and an ermine brandishing a spear. Having heard the commotion, the fox and the ermine had dropped back from the rear of Gulo's band to investigate. Now the border warrior's blood was up. He sprang at the fox, battering it backwards with his long, heavy blade, whereupon it withered under his relentless force. After sweeping the fox's blade aside, Tam swung, cleaving the vermin from ears to neck with one mighty stroke. Spear poised, the ermine charged Tam from behind, but found himself confronted by the big bird, who had rid itself of the enveloping cloak. As the ermine ran by, the bird struck savagely with its beak and talons, bringing the beast screeching to the ground. The ermine wriggled over, raising its spear for a killing thrust, but Tam turned like lightning, his blade slaying the vermin with a single blow. Panting and aching all over, the border warrior looked down at his dead enemies, then stared up into the questioning eyes of a huge male goshawk. The bird clacked its black-tipped beak together abruptly. "Idga! White vermin kill vermin!" Tam clapped his claymore at the ready, lest the hawk renew its assault upon him. "I'm no vermin. They are my enemies. Why'd you attack me? I was doing you no harm." The goshawk preened its barred chest feathers. "Ha ha! Turgan thought you vermin. No talk now. More vermin come soon. Hide! Hide! Come!" Judging this to be sensible advice, Tam followed Turgan. The goshawk hobbled along swiftly with an odd hop-skipping gait. One of its wings hung awkwardly, brushing the ground. They made their way through the undergrowth until they reached the big bird's hideout. There was a ledge beneath the low hill, surrounded by ferns, vacated by some creature who had dwelt there long ago. Turgan winced as he settled down. "Grrrr! All vermin must die! See what they do to this bird with Ada!" Moving aside the hanging wing with his beak, Turgan displayed a festering wound with a broken arrow shaft still in it, right where the wing connected to his body. "Vermin arrow, shoot me out of the sky! Turgan not fly now! Golly! But this bird still hunt vermin!" Tam felt both pity and an instant comradeship with the courageous goshawk. Turgan was clearly a born fighter. "Let me try and get that arrow out for you, mate. Then we'll see if that wing still works. By the way, my name's Tam, Rakkety Tam MacBurl." The gold-rimmed eyes widened approvingly. "Arrgh! Burl be good name. You pull arrow out, Burl. Then Turgan fly again. Kill many vermin. You get air!" For the next few hours, Tam busied himself with removing the broken arrow shaft. It was no easy task and exceedingly painful for the hawk. However, Turgan bore it stoically, gritting out continuously, "Jigger! Slay all vermin! Kill vermin!" Tam finally accomplished his grisly chore. He held up the barbed shaft for the goshawk to see. "There, that's the best I can do for you. I know little of healing. Even if I had a fire, hot water, herbs and dressings, I still wouldn't own the skill and know-how. Well, how does it feel, Turgan?" Tam could see that it caused him pain. Squinching his fearsome eyes, the goshawk tried flexing the wing. "Bagah! This bird not fly again, Burl!" Tam patted the hawk's long talons sympathetically. "Don't give up hope yet. There was only a rough job. You come with me, I'll take you to my friends, a band of herders called the Long Patrol. I'm sure one of them know how to cheat and grease. Turgan swivelled his head, showing the white stripes on each side. Long troll, eh? This bird see harebeasts many times when I hunt far and wide. Hear them too. They say, what, what? Tam could not resist a chuckle. Oh, they say that quite a lot. Come on, mate. Obeying Tam's orders faithfully, Doogy had stayed at the deserted vermin camp, but the small Highlander was not gifted with patience. Sitting about idly, twiddling his paws, did not suit him well. Therefore, the Highlander was vastly relieved when Ferdinand returned with the Long Patrol. In Doogy's estimation, Brigadier Crumshaw, who had been made well aware of the situation, looked to be doing very little. Fuming with impatience, the squirrel complained to Sergeant Onewell. Sitting around here on our tails waiting, is that all we got to do, Sergeant? Onewell knew the Brigadier's mind from long experience. He tried to clarify things for Doogy. Steady on, Mr. Plumm. We've got some tired and hungry troops here, you know. The patrol have gone without victuals and made the double-force march to get here. They need feeding and a short rest. As for your mate, Tam, the Brigadier reckons he'll be back to report soon. If they come by the time every beast is fed and watered and rested, we'll take up the trail again sharpish. Still fretful at the delay, Doogy wolfed down a bowl of leek and mushroom soup, realising that he, too, had not eaten in some time. Corporal Wopscott refilled Doogy's bowl, continuing the attempt to talk some sense into the disillusioned squirrel. Weary paws and empty tums ain't much perishing good to any chap, particularly if you have to go scouting on the double after rascally crowds of vermin. What? Imagine what would happen if we caught up with them and had to charge straight into battle against the blighters. That'll be a right old how do you do. But Doogy would not be appeased. You still sitting about like a lunch of old biddies. There's only me who cares about what happened to me, mate Tam. He was immediately rewarded by the sound of Tam's voice hailing the camp. Hello, the patrol. Tam MacBurl coming in with a wounded friend. Put up your blades. The border warrior strode in with Turgan hop-skipping behind him. Passing Doogy on his way over to the Brigadier, Tam collected his shield. He glared at Doogy with mock severity. Had a good nap on a fine feed, Doogy Plumm. You lead a hard and desperate life suffering back here. The Highlander was delighted to see Tam back safe, but he masked his feelings by scowling darkly. Och, will you no look what the wind blew in? You took your time, MacBurl, and who plays a scruffy old furrbag dancing about behind you? Doogy skipped back a pace as Turgan's beak snapped close to his nose. The hawk eyed him dangerously. Idga! Burl want this bird to slay the little fat one. Further exchanges of welcomes were cut short by the Brigadier's arrival. He waved his stick. Ah, there you are, Tam. What's to report, eh, bucko? The warrior informed the Brigadier of what had taken place. Crumshaw listened intently, then paced back and forth, twirling his moustaches as he planned the next move. I'd say the villains are heading for Redwall, what? A precious little time to dilly-dally. Our task has become a jolly sight more important than recapturing a drum. Immediate action's what's needed, Sergeant. Are you listening to me orders? Onewell snapped to attention. I'm all ears, ha! The Brigadier scratched a rough sketch on the ground with his swagger stick. Right-ho, these are the moves. The patrol's right here, yonder is the abbey, and there's a vermin, someplace twixt the flipping two. Now our job is to get ahead of the foe and reach Redwall to defend it. Tam, I want you to take Plumm and Domain. Your task is to get to Redwall first, before the vermin or the patrol. You must warn our friends of the danger in case they're attacked before we arrive. I know I'm asking a blinking lot, but if I'm any judge of gallopers, you're the lads who will do the job. You'll have to travel like the bloomin' clappers. Well, chaps, you game? In answer, Tam passed his shield to Crumshaw. You can return this to me later, sir. I'll be at Redwall waiting for you to arrive with it. Can you find some beast to fix up this gossail swing, sir? Turgan's taken a bad wound. I did what I could, but I'm no great healer, sir. Tam winced as the hawk's beak rapped his paw. Grrrr! This bird go with you, Burl. Plenty time for fixed wing when all vermin are killed. One glance at the fury in the bird's wild eyes told the Brigadier that no beast could hold him back. Looks like you've picked up an extra galloper, laddie, and a jolly perilous one at that. What? Turgan nodded in agreement. Yeah, what? The twins, Kersey and Dauncey, marched up with soup and a flagon of cold cider. Corporal Wopscott's compliments, sir. Food for the galloper before he sets off, sir. Tam and Turgan ignored the soup, each took a gulp of the cider. Tam wiped a paw across his mouth. Tell Butty thanks. We've no time for the victuals. Fergie, Doody, Let's get under way for the Abbey. Brigadier Crumshaw peered through the dust cloud the four left as they dashed off.
Forward the buffs, that's the spirit, what? Now then, Kersey and Dauncey, dispose of that tucker. I've got work for you two young rips.
The twins gulped the soup and slung aside the bowls.
Work, sir? For us?
Command away, sir.
The monocled eye flicked from one to the other.
Find the quickest way to Redwall Abbey for the patrol. One that'll take us away from the path and the vermin. I want to surprise the scoundrels when they reach Redwall. Well, don't stand there with your jaws flapping. I'm promoting you back to galloping scouts. Don't disappoint me this time, do you hear?
The two young hares beamed, shoving their chests out fit to burst and saluting several times.
You can jolly well rely on us, sir.
Rather. You won't regret this, sir. Thanks, absolute bags.
Sergeant Wanwill's stentorian bellow rang around the camp.
Come on, you sloppy idle creatures. Let's have you formed up in ranks ready to march immediately, if not sooner. Front and rear markers, myself and Deron. Flankers will be Wopscott and Weldery. Now then, me lucky babes, you're going to double march, so blinking hard that your paws will push holes under the rocks. Straighten up those backs. Look smart. Any beast dropping or losing a weapon on the march will be on a fizzer. Do you hear me? Falderton, Flunkworthy and Flummeter? Don't answer that question. Eyes front, you blushing beauties. Long patrol by the right. Quick double march.
Brigadier Crumshaw marched out sprightly ahead of the flag. It was a straight, rapid pace, and he had forbidden all noise and singing for obvious reasons. However, as a commanding officer, he sang a little verse from an old song he had learned during his young seasons in the ranks. Unaware of the smiling faces behind him, the youngest of whom thought that the brigadiers and officers were born full-blown with resounding voices and moustaches, Crumshaw smiled to himself as he recalled his younger days, singing away.
To Helgi's auto glory, away we march in style. Each warrior here without a care, we'll see you in a while. No time for tears or droopy ears, or blades to lay and rust, as off we roll the long patrol, and stragglers eat our dust.